Hey guys, welcome to my video on section 1-6, solving for a variable. Today's essential question is, how do we rearrange a formula to show a specific variable? Let's begin. So let's say, for example, we have the perimeter of a rectangle that can be calculated by taking the length and multiplying it by 2, and taking the width and multiplying it by 2, and then adding them together to get the perimeter of a rectangle. So the formula is P equals 2L plus 2W. Right now, the formula is shown so that it's solved for P. Okay, so this is solved for P. But what if we wanted to solve it for W? Or what if we wanted to solve it for L? That means we have to rearrange the formula so it doesn't say P equals, it would say W equals or L equals. So let's begin. If we wanted to solve for W, we first need to isolate W that's on the right side of the equation. That means we have to get rid of this 2 that's being multiplied, and we have to get rid of this 2L that's being added. Remember that when you're solving, you're really reversing the order of operations, better known as PEMDAS. You're always looking for something to add or subtract first, then you're looking for something to multiply or divide, then the exponent, then the parentheses. So in this case, if we wanted to solve for this W, which I will highlight. Okay, so let me highlight W. This is what I'm trying to solve for. I have to get rid of 2L, and I have to get rid of this 2. Okay, so 2L is being added to 2W. So therefore, that is what I need to get rid of first. So to solve for W, we start out with the equation or the formula 2L plus 2W. We have decided that since 2L is being added, we're going to subtract 2L from P. Because P and 2L are not like terms, we're just going to rewrite them. We're going to rewrite them as P minus 2L. And that will now be equal to, because these two cancel out, to 2W. Now remember, it is important to know what we're solving for, so we want to know what W is equal to. Sorry, it's yellow. So we want to know what W is equal to. So once again, in order for us to do that, then we need to get rid of this 2. What's going on between this 2 and this W is multiplication. So in order for me to get rid of this 2, I need to divide by 2. Again, the same idea, what you do on one side, you do to the other. Now what I have is P minus 2L all over 2, and that's equal to W. When you rewrite that, it is solved for W. W equals P minus 2L all over 2. Okay? So let's look at another example. It says solving formulas for a variable. The formula for Fahrenheit temperature in terms of degrees Celsius is F equals 9/5 C plus 32. We want to show the formula and rearrange it so that it doesn't say F equals, it should say C equals. So let's see. We have F equals, we have this 9/5 that's being multiplied by the C, and then we have an addition by 32. Because we're trying to solve for C, we want to ultimately get rid of this 9/5. It's being multiplied. And ultimately, we want to get rid of this 32 that's being added. So remember that in reverse order of operations, you have to add or subtract first. Since 32 is being added, I'm going to subtract 32 from F. Now, F and 32 are not like terms, so you can't just say 32F. You have to say F minus 32. And that's equal to what's left over on the right side, which is 9/5 times C. Now, same. We still have a C that we need to solve. Whoops. We still have a C that we need to solve, and the 9/5 that's being multiplied by the C. So because it's being multiplied, we need to now divide by 9/5. Now, remember, dividing by 9/5 is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So, in order for us to get rid of this 9/5, we need to multiply by 5/9. So we need to multiply this side by 5/9. And we need to multiply the left side also by 5/9. So therefore, same thing goes. Now we have solved for C. 5/9 times f minus 32 in parentheses will equal to C. You can also rewrite this as C equals 5/9 times f minus 32 in parentheses, and the parentheses are very important. Let's take a look at our final example, or one of our final examples. The formula for a person's typing speed is S equals W minus 10E all divided by M, where S is the speed in words per minute, W is the number of words typed, E is the number of errors, and M is the number of minutes typing. We want to rearrange this formula so it's not S equals. We want it as W equals. So let's begin. So the formula is S equals W minus 10E all divided by M. It is important to know that W minus 10E is in parentheses. When it's in the numerator, it's all inside one group or one parentheses. And as you know, in reverse PEMDAS, parentheses is always last. So you don't want to touch anything in this group. Okay? So what can we get rid of? Because we're solving for W, we have to get rid of one of these terms. We can't get rid of the 10E because it's inside the parentheses, but what we can get rid of is this M. This M is being divided, so in order for us to get rid of it, we need to multiply by both sides. Same idea, you can't combine, you could multiply S and M, and that will equal to M times S, or S times M, it doesn't matter. So now that is equivalent to the group of W minus 10E. Remember that you're still solving for W, so you have to at some point get rid of this negative 10E. So what I need to do is I need to add 10E to both sides in order for me to isolate the variable W. So ms plus 10e is not ms 10e. It literally is just ms plus 10e. And now that's equal to w when it's isolated. So you can rewrite this as w equals ms plus 10e, or you can say w equals 10e plus ms. Both are okay. Now let's see our final formula. So the formula for the area of the circle is a equals pi times radius squared. We need to solve for r. Remember that in order for us to solve for r, we have to get rid of everything else but r. Okay? So let's begin. A equals pi r squared. At some point, we have to get rid of everything else except for the r. So we have to get rid of this pi, and it's being multiplied by r, and then we have to get rid of this squared. Okay? So let's look at reverse order of operations. There is nothing that we need to add or subtract, because nothing is being added to r squared, or nothing is being subtracted to r squared. Multiplication and division. There is something that's being multiplied, and the thing that's being multiplied is this pi. So we want to get rid of the multiplication by pi by dividing by pi. Okay? Same thing goes. If you divide by pi, you just get a divided by pi, and now it's equal to r squared. You still haven't solved for r. You need to get rid of this 2. Now that 2 is being squared, so this 2 is being squared. So that's not the same as multiplying by 2. That's an exponent that we have to get rid of. So in order for us to get rid of this exponent, you have to reverse squared. The inverse of any power of 2 is to take the square root of it. So the square root of r squared is going to equal r by itself. What you do on one side, you have to do to the other. So the square root of a over pi is going to be the value of r. So r is equal to the square root of a divided by pi. Thank you for watching.